looks like we've discovered the ant's nest.
Dad, do you know what was just freaking me out a little bit, Dad?
Yeah.
I put the trigger up there, Dad.
Oh,
And you know what? It was like, Dad, you
bloody
know
hell.
what? Dad,
Dropping. Yeah.
you know what happened? It was spinning around. I turned it off.
Yeah.
It was like spinning around even more.
Really?
Yeah, I just turned it off some more. That's kind of fun.
Raining ants. Well, the positive is it looks like we found the nest.
Na los.
And the eggs. There's probably another bunch of eggs on the other side. And as we suspected, look at all those ants there. All the dead ants. And check this out. They're all the eggs. So they weren't going anywhere anytime soon. If you can hear that tick 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 like raindrops, that's the ants falling. Oh, so here we have the panels removed. It's all been nicely vacuumed and cleaned up. Not specifically, I've still got to clean up all the dirt and so on there, but at least it gives you an idea. Still unsure what to do with the top part of the panel, whether or not to remove that. Obviously, if we remove that, we're going to have to then remove the cupboards, as this panel goes right through and goes right to the top of the ceiling. We've tried sanding on this side here, and it's coming out okay. Obviously not to the point where we're able to paint on it, but certainly we can maybe make use of something like wallpaper or whatever to kind of give it that funky retro look. But we'll see. The other thing too is this cupboard up here. You'll notice that there's a light there and a light on this side, which means that the bed would have been lying this way, obviously with some kind of furnishing on either side. What we're doing is we're now making the bed across, and the reason for that is so that it allows us more room here in order to create the bathroom. What that means though is we don't need this cupboard space anymore. I think the next step will be to take this cupboard out, and by the look of it, the good thing about it is that it just seems to be an add-on. So this wall here is actually the extension of this cupboard. So it looks like this whole unit can actually just be unscrewed. You see? And the back wall there is part of the wall from this wardrobe. So I've just unscrewed the light here, and you can see how the wiring runs through. It's all pretty tight, so you've got the 12 volt and the 240 wiring. Although why this wiring here hasn't been connected, I don't know, but it's there. So I'll have to disconnect it from the underneath, from under here, in order to then feed the cable through so I can remove this cupboard here. Right, now with the light removed, when I start taking the cupboard out, that'll just slide into there. It's a good idea to have this cavity here actually. I'm going to have to remove the edge trimming now. I'm not too worried about damaging the ceiling because as we said, we're going to replace it anyway. So here are the pieces. I just used a hammer and chisel just to kind of crack the paint and then peel it off slowly. I mean, I'm not worried about this. As I said, that's all going to go. And on this side, it's the same thing. Just trying to be gentle there, not to not to damage this as much as possible. Okay, so I've just come across the nails inside the wardrobe there and so on. There's half a dozen or so by the look of it, which basically holds this face inside. I think it's these nails here for this unit here. Doesn't seem to be any others here, so maybe it's only just on that face there. Better to find. So to give you an idea, so far we've had 1, 2 and 3 screw nails on that side, which were effectively nailed in behind here. Now I've gotten rid of those, and now we're starting to see movement. So the whole unit is now moving nicely. I've gone under here and separated as much as I can between the unit and the wall, and now it's just a matter of probably going to have to use 2 hands. I was pressing inside this wall here to kind of dislodge as much as I can and just go very, very gently. So now the back bit here is fairly loose. See that? You can see that movement here. So now the only thing that seems to be still binded up there, this is where I grab this tool and start separating it more so. And this whole thing should just pop out soon. And we're almost done. Trying to do this one-handed. Where's it binding? Not ideal, but the roof is going to be replaced, so I'm not worried about that. And this over here looks like I can just probably touch that up and make that look presentable. So, but there you have it. They're all pretty well simply built. You can see the inside of it. It's just a frame with the external cladding. But I really like this idea of having that, you know, the top and bottom shelf there in order to have the electrics running through. Now we're moving on to the wardrobe. So we've unscrewed the doors, and now we're in the process of removing the entire lot. Now what we're going to do is remove obviously the sides and everything, but in order to do that we've got to remove this. We've already stripped the bottom piece out in order to take it out, but check the size of that nail. So there's no way you can do that without actually taking, what I've done is I've taken the equivalent on the other side off here in order to get to it. So yeah, now I should be able to take that off. And again, what we're doing is we're going very, very gently in here, just kind of trying to pry it out, etc., etc. Not too worried about this one here. We're more worried about the wall here. This is going to go back in place, but we actually might use this as a template and put another one in there because it's actually warped or bowed. So this thing actually bows down and sags. So now we just continue on. Okay, removed. So you might as well replace it with a nice piece of timber and leave it unpainted, maybe stained. So now that's done. Just got to remove these things here, get rid of these staples, and clean that wall up. So this wall here, just like that wall there, needs to be all nicely cleaned up. And so now the next job is to continue removing this. Once we've removed that, then we're going to actually start with the ceiling. So removing or pulling apart the wardrobe, they're all pretty much stapled. You can see the staples there. The frames will have screws, but these panels will just be stapled in. So I'm just using a rubber mallet and just effectively prying the wall out gently. So again, just be mindful when you're ripping this stuff out that these things are all built from the inside out, which means that you're going to have nails coming in. Just like we've got the nails from the walls here, you're going to have them from the ceiling as well. So just be careful. So we just removed the wardrobe, and it was quite a bit of work. What we're using is this to get behind the timber and the nails and the wall to cut the nails. This has been a lifesaver, this. And this original piece here, which we cut, follows through, and then this is the joiner here. So we're going to, might as well take this whole panel off here and replace the lot. See a little bit of water ingress here at some stage, and I believe it's coming from the J-rail, seeing that there's no windows up here anyway. So there we have it. Effectively remove that panel here as well. Seeing that it's a joint, we can get a solid piece that runs across to the back. That's where the bathroom's going to go. It's actually going to be about, the wall's going to come to about here, which is around 900 wide and about 800 deep. So plenty of room for a bathroom there. So everything else is looking okay. We're going to take the opportunity and add a few more PowerPoints and whatnot. So the next stage now is to start removing these trims here. We're going to remove the top ones all along the whole van in preparation for removing these sheets. And then once we've removed the sheets, we'll then look at fixing the hatch. Anyway, one thing at a time. It's looking a lot more spacious now. So I've been using the sander to try and remove as much of the liquid nails and so on. It's actually removing the paint. It's actually looking quite nice. A lot cleaner now. I'll continue to do that on the top there, on the sides, and then of course I've got to do this whole section here as well. It takes a bit of time, but it's going to come out really nice.